Right guys, welcome back to the channel, and as I may have said in an update a few weeks ago, I won this from Mark and Ian from Xenovids. Big shout out to them, thank you very much indeed. Had a read of it, very interesting codex indeed, but I wanted this as well. So I've gotten hold of this, and I said I wasn't starting them until after Tyranids. That kind of happened. So let's have a closer look. So yes, this accident has happened in the last 3 weeks, and I've built myself up a nice little war convocation. So let's have a closer look at the models, and I'll talk you through some of the things that I'm going to be doing with them and upgrading them. I've just played a game with them against Josh. That battle report will be up in probably about 2 weeks time, and they're interesting. Difficult to master, but interesting. So I'll just show you around the models. Down here we have the Rust Stalkers, and all the bases I've gone for a kind of urban, overgrown, ruin kind of feel. We've got the Rangers with arc rifles. We've got the Vanguard here. Infiltrators on this side. Trying to get a bit more posing on the bases than what I normally do. We've got an Onager or an Onaga, however you pronounce it. I've actually got a second one of these which I'm currently painting up as well. And out of the Ballistari or the Dragoons, I preferred the sound of the Dragoon more, so I built this one as a Dragoon, and again I've got a second one to add. Moving on to the Mechanicus stuff, we've got a squad of Breaches. I ummed and ahed about the weapons, but ultimately the arc rifle seems to be the one for me. And then we've got the Destroyers. I think they can take a torsion cannon, and although the torsion cannon is nice, nowhere near as many shots. Or is it the plasma they can take? I'm not sure, but anyway, I equipped them with the Grav because I figured the more shots is better for them. We've then got the Castellan, and the Data Smith reminds us very much of the 30k Castellax and Magus. And then for the Knights, I went big. I've gone for the 3 Cerastus Knights. They painted to a decent tabletop standard, but I've still got the transfers to add to them. So here we've got the Archaon, and I like the Archaon a lot. As a Tyranid and Dark Eldar player who relies on cover, I like this gun because it does this. There's a normal flamer template, there's that, and look at the devastation that that thing can cause. Strength 7, AP 3, wow. Of course he has the Reaper Chain Fist there that allows you to reroll 1s on the D table, so unless you're rolling a double 1, which can happen, it's unlikely to, he's pretty much a beast. We've then got the Lancer, Close Combat Monster, Wraith Night Hunter, other Night Hunter, and then we have the Castigator, the Horde Killer. I love the sound of his Initiative 2 sweep attack hitting everything in base contact. Right, so there's a lot to take in. I'm a little bit overwhelmed with the force. You don't really see that much of them, and I haven't really played against them either, so playing against them was difficult. There's a lot to take in and absorb. For example, the War Convocation allows you to take all upgrades for free, and you lose the Gets Hot rule on any plasma or anything as well. So the first thing that you need in it is a Battle Maniple, which is basically one of each. And there's a few things I find there's a lot of combos you need to try and get right to optimize things as well. So anybody within 12 of the Onaga has leadership 10. They've also got Tireless Advance, so they gain Crusade and Scout as well, which is something that we forgot. Right, so with getting all the free upgrades, the Vanguard, I would stick him with an Arc Pistol and an Arc Maul. Of course, digital weapons and conversion field across the board. In relation to the artifacts, the artifact that I gave him is the Pater Radium. Basically, you have to take a toughness test if you're stuck in combat, and if you fail it, you take D6 randomly allocated wounds with no armor saves allowed. Well, considering they grant -1 toughness to anything in combat with them, that's a great combo. The reason I give him an arc pistol is because who doesn't love a strength 6 pistol? The arc maul being +2 strength and concussive, it's handy if he gets locked up in combat. Of course, the guy at the back there has an omnispecs, and that's pretty much the same with the rangers. The rangers, however, I went for arc rifles and a transonic arquebus. I don't really understand that strength 4 armor being sniper. It's a very odd weapon, but the alpha is kitted out exactly the same way: arc pistol and arc maul. And out of the artifacts, I went to give him the skull of Elder Nicola. Yeah, it's free. It does haywire shots within turn D6 range. It's free, so why not? And out of the ones that were left, that one seemed the most appropriate, really. Right, so the infiltrators, I quite like these. They give -1 weapon skill and initiative within 6 inches. So if you've got them nearby, strike them with something else, such as the Rust Stalkers, to give them +1 strength and things like that. I think the combos, when you work them out, can be quite nasty indeed. So the Princeps, him out pretty much the same way, give him a conversion field and of course digital weapons. Out of the 2 loadouts for the infiltrators, I preferred the power sword and the pistol. It's hit and miss with either one, I think, so I went for the power sword and the pistol. However, I've given this infiltrator the phase taser, and the reason I like that is because if you suffer a wound from the phase taser, yes, it's AP dash, but it's +2 strength, then pass an initiative test, bearing in mind they grant a -1, removed from play. So that is handy indeed. So the Rust Stalkers, the Princeps, again digital weapons and conversion field. And I've chose the loadout for these as the Chode Claw or Code Claw with a single razor. Yes, the transonic blades would give +1 strength, but they've got furious charge anyway. And I like the Fleshbane. The Fleshbane is important because what if you run into a Wraith Knight? Exactly. Plus there is other combos there, and canticles and stuff, which would increase your strength. So there's always the option there to increase it that way. Him, however, I give the Princeps the Omniscient Mask to give him Zealot, re-rolling those hits, which is especially important with the Chode Claw. And any 6s, auto wound at AP2. That's fantastic. I would love to charge 10 of these into a Wraith Knight and see who came off worse. So the Dragoon, I like the Dragoons. Good threat range, minimum charge range of 5 inches. I like the Lance, to be honest. It's very strike hard and fast and do some damage. I've given the Phosphor Serpenter as well, because why not do some damage as you're going in? Plus it allows, I think, other units to re-roll the charge distances against it. And if the infiltrators or Rust Stalkers are there, they've got a minimum charge range of 5. So that's important. It's really, really good. He hits hard. He's armor 11, which means your basic infantryman isn't going to be able to hurt him. So that's why I want another one. Right, so the Onager or Onaga. Neutron laser all the way for me. Hummed and hard over the weapons. Some of them are quite good, but I think strength 10 blast, most reliable, and if you're up in your ballistic skill, chances are you're going to hit. Gave him 2 Cognos heavy stubbers, of course. Why not? They're free. I've also gave him the Mind Scanner probe, which we actually forgot when we played the game, which is handy. Within 6 inches, you don't gain the attack bonus for charging. That's pretty good. And the other thing he has is a close combat upgrade, which makes him strength 10, but unwieldy, and it gives him basically it will not die. That is why I want more than one of them, because one of them alone has a 6 up invuln. Multiples, you add 1 to the invuln for it for each one within 4 inches. So a squadron of 3 of them has a 4 invuln, pumping out 3 strength 10 large blasts, and what would that be? 18 stubber shots. That's not bad at all. This portion of the force is the Adeptus Mechanicus battle congregation. So we went for the destroyers, and as I said, based on the 2 weapons that they can choose, grav all the way. They're relentless, they can shoot both weapons, which is either a flamer or a heavy stubber as well. And I just think they're pretty damn good. The toughness 5, 2 wounds, 4 up armor. Gotta watch out for the AP4, but stick them in some cover, sit them back, and shoot away at those elite targets. Pretty good. The Castellans, meanwhile, I like the heavy phosphor blaster. It's nice. It's twin linked. It's AP3. It's great. Some of the canticles allow you to reroll hits, which again is fantastic, but not necessarily on the twin linked ones. So I didn't know whether to give them the carapace ones or leave the flamers. The flamers are handy though because they are torrent, which is useful when you're shooting things that rely on cover, such as Dark Eldar or Tyranids, or indeed anything with a 5 up armor. The Data Smith didn't really quite know what to do with them. I like his standard loadout, but I gave him the upgrade. The only one that really seems fit out of the relics for this squad is granting it will not die. The Castellans work very similar to the 30k Castellax in the sense of you do have Cyber Thurgy with the 30k. With these you have battle protocols, and a lot of them are useful, like shoot twice but can't move, and things like that, but it's very situational. You've got to be in the right position to do it. You need to be able to forward think and plan the turn ahead. The standard one of Feel No Pain is pretty useful. The toughness 7, so the 33% chance of ignoring a wound that's come in is pretty good. Right, so with the breaches, I went for the arc rifles. The torsion cannons, strength 8, but single shot, and bearing in mind they are only ballistic skill 3. Again, it's kind of one way or the other, and I'm a big fan of Haywire. So, Haywire it is. The arc rifles pump out a lot of shots. Yeah, if you're re-rolling to hits, if you're re-rolling to hit, all them Haywires are going to come in very, very handy indeed. And here we go, this is the Dominus. He can shoot 2 weapons, he's very tasty, he's got a power axe, and yeah, he's got a lot of very, very nice weapons available to him. Went for the Phosphor Blaster and the Eradication Beamer. I don't know, I just feel those two suit him a bit better. He is able to shoot 2 weapons. For the artifacts, I actually gave him the Remnant of the Technomartyr and attachment to the Vanguards, allowing the Vanguards to shoot Overwatch at ballistic skill 2, and gives him a 2 up armor, so he's able to actually tank a lot of the wounds that would normally come in and take out the Vanguard. So I think attaching him to the Vanguard, that's probably the way I would play it. It's the way that Josh played it. Yeah, so with the War Convocation, everything in the army games Canticles of the Omnissiah. It means that when you're totaling up the number of units that you have for using Canticles of the Omnissiah, it does generate the top tier most of the time. I feel that some of the Canticles do go pretty hand in hand with the Doctrines. For example, +1 weapon skill and re-rolling to hit in combat, which is Chant of the Remorseless Fist. I think hitting on 3s without that suffering of ballistic skill and re-rolling all those hits is nice. Now, the War Convocation does state that all models gain it, including those guys. So them re-rolling D hits in combat. Very, very nasty indeed. I think for first turn, I think using Shroud Psalm, which grants Shrouded and Stealth. If most of your things are in cover, that's a 2-up cover save. And if you up the ballistic skill to 7, 2-up cover save with ballistic skill 7 on all of this shooting across the board is nasty. I think I quite like the idea of holding them back, forming a gun line, whilst these guys take lead. And then obviously these are going to absorb a lot of the firepower, keeping these guys alive, being able to do the damage as other things come in to steal objectives. So that's the way I would play them, I think. Obviously I do want to know how you would play them. What do you think I should equip certain squads with? What weapons are better? And the artifacts as well. I'd be interested to know whether you would give that guy the 2-up armor save and Cognus, or give it to the Dominus. Where would you attach the Dominus? So yeah, please let me know what you think of them. Now obviously the last part of the force is the Oathsworn detachment, which is 1 to 3 knights. And you can take these guys. Like I said, the Archaon, he has a twin-linked heavy bolter. He's got that nice Inferno cannon on there as well. With the Hellstorm template, strength 7 AP 3. And it's long. If he moves 12 inches forward and then that template, you're pretty much getting into the enemy's deployment zone straight away. The Reaper Chain Fist, obviously it's a better version of the Chain Sword. Rerolling 1s, who doesn't like that on the D table? And if he's rerolling to hit, it's very, very nice indeed. The Lancer can shoot his lance, but he's basically a monster and Night Hunter. If he charges, he goes at initiative 5, and who doesn't want him to reroll the hits? The only problem is, although he gets his invuln in combat, he can't put his shield on the rear. So you've got to place him well. I think sticking him in the middle of the table is the wrong thing to do, because then, especially if you're playing someone like Eldar, they've got the maneuverability to get around the back and expose him. So I think charging him one side or the other is probably the thing to do. And finally, we've got the Castigator. We've got a heavy 8, strength 7, AP 3 gun there, which is very, very tasty indeed. It's like a slightly larger version of the Avenger Bolt Cannon. And his sword, you can swing at initiative for 4 attacks, I think. The sword is only strength 10 AP 2. I say only because it's not D, which you normally expect to see on knights. However, you can make a separate attack at initiative 2. And the reason it's at initiative 2 is because everything else has piled in, apart from those things that are going at initiative 1, your Thunderhammers and Power Fists. Chances are though, they are probably in base contact if the charge distance was far enough. He basically gets to make a sweep attack, hitting everything in base combat, in base contact rather, at strength 10 AP 2. So unless you've got a monstrous creature there, chances are you're going to go through it, unless it's got an invuln. So that's the way I'm playing them with these 3 knights. Obviously these 3 knights are new, and I wanted to add them to the new force. Would you use these 3? Would you mix them up with the Crusader, Paladin, Errant and the other varieties of knights? Which 3 would you take and why? So that is the new force. It's up and running a lot quicker than what I expected. Stay tuned for the battle report. It'll be up shortly. Let me know what you think, what your thoughts are, how you would equip things, what would you add, what would you take out. I hope you've enjoyed having a look at them, and I'll post some close-up pictures at the end of the video. Until next time, thank you very much.